That's right. Tweak 8, people. If you haven't got on board by now, maybe you should. You be smoking a nice big cigar, limo riding, jet flying. Woo! 4-1, people, last week. 4-1. 22, 11, and 1 overall for the year. And yeah, it's time to chirp a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Chirp while you can. Anyone that knows me knows. Chirp while you can. You never know when you're going to be able to do it again. It's been a crazy week again. Another crazy week. Let me tell you something. A lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of stories I really wanted to get into, like the stupid Scottie Pippen singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" and a complete abomination. God, if you don't know that song by now, please, really? I know you played basketball probably your whole life, but really? Come on, bro. Get with it. Then there was, as much as I love football, check out this, if you haven't seen Weedakit yet, it's a show on, I don't know, one of those 3,000-4,000 channels that we got on cable. Weedakit, there was a football story there with a defensive lineman named Brian Schafering, who just recently retired and had to retire because too many concussions and all that stuff. So it's kind of a enlightening story, as I would say. But a good story nonetheless, something you should check out, make you think about a lot of things, especially with football. It made me think about a lot of things with football. And then, which brings me to my next thing. The last story I'm going to talk about, because I got caught up in watching Fury. It's already... If you haven't seen that movie Fury, my God, I love that movie. And I get sucked into it every time. Machine! Alright? So, there was an 18-year-old... Actually, let's backtrack. There was a football game of 13 and 14-year-olds going on up in Rhode Island. Somewhere up in Rhode Island. Doesn't really matter. God, you could take a 15-minute walk and walk right through Rhode Island. Not to say that Connecticut's much bigger, but you know what I'm saying. So there was a 13 and 14-year-old game going on, midget football, whatever they call it, and team was getting a shellacking. So the coach of the team that was getting shellacked decides to put in an 18-year-old kid. And parents and people on the other side noticed that there was an unusually large kid that came into the football game, had facial hair, and had tattoos all over his body. So they decided to investigate a little further and found out he was 18 years old. I think the coach had to quit or got fired, or I don't know what happened to him. So, pretty funny story though. But if you watch the Brian Schafering story and combine it with this, you got a little something there, a little something to chew on. Alright, because it is so late, and again, I apologize for these no midweek updates, but I had 6 lawns to take care of with leaves twice this week because we got pickup coming. No excuse. Plus I got stuffing season, which is the worst part of my year. That started. And I haven't really had much time to do anything else. That's all I'm going to say. Alright? Alright. Let's get with the picks. And we're going to get back on it. More jet flying, limo riding, woo, picks. Here we go. Now, this is the last time I'm going to warn you. Always buy up, down, half point, whatever. Because last week, technically, I was 4-0-1. But I'm going to take the loss because Kansas City was giving 6.5, won by 6. I had a push. It was a loser as far as the picks go, but I always tell everybody to buy that half point, which I did. So this time, from this point forward, if it's a half point difference, I'm taking the push or the win, depending on how it falls. So let's move it on. All right, so Detroit, plus 2.5 at Houston. I'm going to take Detroit with the 2.5. Again, buy up for at least a half a point up to 3.
New England minus 5.5 over Buffalo. This is in Buffalo. It's a huge revenge game for New England. I'm going to keep betting New England until I can't bet them anymore. This one, I would buy a minimum of a half of a point. Minimum. To bring it up to minus, or down to minus 5. Kansas City minus 2.5 at Indianapolis. I just think it's a good spot here for Kansas City. Indianapolis, I don't know. Let's see what happens there. But I like Kansas City minus 2.5. Again, buy down to 2 if you can. Actually, I'd buy down to a 1.5 if I could, or even a point. San Diego plus 4.5 at Denver. Denver's coming off, I believe it was a good win on Monday night. San Diego coming off another brutal loss. So I'm going to take San Diego plus the 4.5 at Denver. They always play tough. Again, if you can buy up to 5, that's fantastic. 5.5 is even better. Atlanta minus 3 at home with Green Bay coming in. Green Bay had a big win last week. I don't even know if you can call it a big win because I think they beat Chicago. Atlanta's definitely the better team. And again, buy down to a 2 if you can. And then the last thing I like is the over in the Atlanta Green Bay, over at 53. There should be a lot of points in this game. Atlanta's known to give up points. You're going to get at least 20 probably from Green Bay. So you need 30 plus from Atlanta, which you should get. So I like Atlanta minus 3 and the over 53 in the Atlanta Green Bay game. So those are your 6 picks. And the point about buying the half point or the full point, you're going to risk maybe, your normal VIG is 10%. So it's if you're going to buy a half a point, it usually goes up to about 130, or a full point at 140. Sometimes even a full point, you might even get 130 on that, depending on who the team is and what the game is. If there's not a lot of action, like New England, you're not going to get a good value on a point, but you're going to get a really good value on a half a point. And that half a point, so what? You're going to spend 130 on it. Last week, if you did, you would have saved yourself 110 by spending 130. And you would have got your money back. You would have got a push. So you would have spent 130 to get a push, so you get your money back rather than losing 110. What would you rather do? Lose the money or get the money back instead of winning it? I'd rather get the money back rather than losing it. So do it. And once again, these picks are always absolutely free. Absolutely free. The one to turn to. Oh, wait a minute. Forgot about this. Chicago and Cleveland still in the World Series. Who would have thought? I thought it was going to go 7 games. I don't know. I'm hoping it still goes 7 games. Here's what your choices are. I used to collect helmets. I took Chicago, but I said Cleveland has got something going on. They both had something going on. Obviously, Cleveland has a little bit more going on. That guy Coco Crisp, who used to play baseball in New Haven for the Stavens, is doing something special over there too. Still, somehow, used to be a Red Sox. So I'm going to try and incentivize the Chicago Cubs a little bit. Let them see what they're playing for, all right? Here's what they're playing for. A little bit of pride. All right? 1978. My North Haven Auto Body jacket, baby. We started it all for the North Haven Auto Body Dynasty. The first championship for North Haven Auto Body. I believe they've had a few more since that time, but we were the ones that started it. This is what you're playing for, Cubby fans, Cubs in general. You get a little something like this. Alright? And you do more jet flying, more limo riding. Woo! Take it home.